Hello everyone, welcome to Parade of Paws. I'm Officer Thomas Anderson of the Casa Grande Police Department. With me today I have my co-host Julie Tiemann, Kennel Assistant here at the Animal Care and Control Office. Julie, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to our office.
Well, I started with the animal control about a year ago, just over a year ago. I am the kennel assistant here. I'm the one who takes care of the animals, evaluates the animals, cleans up after the animals, and any need that they might need when they're here pretty much is my job to take care of. I've been working with dogs for about 20 years. I'm a certified pet dog trainer, so it helps me to understand them, figure out which ones are a good adoptable pet, and maybe help them with the little behavior issues.
Well, we're glad to have you here, and as always, I understand we have some wonderful cats and dogs to present today, and hopefully we'll get some adopted. Let's start with the cats.
All right, our first cat is Kit Kat. He's a 3-year-old domestic long hair, gray and white, male neutered cat. Kit Kat has been here for a little bit. He's got a little bit of a personality, sometimes can get a little bucky, but he's a very good boy who needs a forever home with lots of attention. He would be a little bit better with just an adult home. Sometimes his attitude can create a few problems with children. Not bad problems, but he just probably would fit into an adult home a little bit better.
And he's the smallest cat available, correct?
Yep, he's the smallest. No, we range from 8-week-old kittens on up to 30-pound cats, so.
Excellent. So as we get our next cat, can you tell me a little bit about Pet Finder?
Pet Finder is a website where organizations as ourselves or rescues can place any of their animals that they have available for adoption on there so that anyone can look them up. They can give descriptions, put pictures, and the location of where the animal is so that they can find them and adopt them.
Excellent.
And our next cat is Joni. Thank you. And this is Joni. Now, next month, Joni will have been here with us for an entire year. So she is really, really looking for her forever home. She's a domestic short hair. She's about 21 months old, almost 2 years. As you can see, she is black and white. She just needs to be out of the shelter and have a home. She's a very big lover, loves people, loves kids. Doesn't seem to have a whole lot of problem with dogs either.
Good. So when you spoke of Pet Finder, you mentioned that people can view pets on Pet Finder. Are there other ways to view pets, adoptable pets?
Most certainly. You can go on the city website and look at our adoptable pets, and you can also call and leave a message on our voicemail and set up an appointment to come in and view the animals here at the shelter. I believe also that they're on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And just so you know, our city website is www.casagrandeaz.gov. Our telephone number for the Animal Care and Control Center is 520-426-9300. And our Facebook page for the police department is facebook.com/cgpolice. And let's see the next cat.
All right. Charles is a domestic short hair. He's about 2 years old. He's a gray, black-brown tabby. Something unique, he's also a male neutered. Something unique about Charles is that he is declawed on all 4 feet. So if that's something that you're looking for, you can come and pick up Charles here at the shelter and adopt him, and you won't have to worry about the claws and chewing up furniture, or maybe if you have some skin issues that make your skin a little bit tender, this might be the cat for you.
So Julie, when cats are adopted from here, are they all declawed or no?
No. Charles came in completely declawed. That's not something that we do, something you can choose to do in the future with a cat if you adopt one, but we just get a few in that sometimes have already been declawed. Count Chocula is being a little wild man this morning, but he would love to be in your home and running through your house and giving you attention. He is a male neutered domestic short hair. He's about 2 years old, and he's white, and if you can't tell, this is a chocolate color, which I understand is very unusual. It's usually black and white, so this
Well, that immediately caught my attention. Most cats that I see spotted this way are black and white, and
Yes.
Count Chocula, obviously the name suits Count Chocula perfectly, right?
Right, and he was very, very shy when he came in. He didn't want to be friends with anybody, but with a little bit of patience and a little bit of time now, he'd like to be anybody's friend.
I noticed that you're very, I'll put you on the spot here a little bit, but I noticed you're very hands-on with the cats, and a lot of people think that you can't really touch cats the way that you do because they're, you know, they have their own little attitudes, but you're very hands-on. They seem to appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think that's most of what our animals need is just someone to give them that attention. I would love to give every one of our animals much, much more attention, but unfortunately, our 8 hours is not long enough. So I think that the more love you give them, the better they become.
As you move on, can you tell us what the process of adopting a pet is?
Sure. The best way to do it is to call and leave a message on our voicemail to set up an appointment and come in and see the dogs. If you find a dog or a cat that you would wish to adopt, then we'll talk about it a little bit, find out what your situation is in your home, and if we think we have one that will fit into the family well, and maybe you have another dog, it might be a good idea to bring them down so they can do a meet and greet, make sure they get along with each other. Then we fill out the adoption forms, take care of the adoption fee, get the animal in to be spayed or neutered if they are not, get them their shots, and then they'll be ready to pick up and go home.
So this might sound like a strange question, but a couple more questions before we meet the dogs. But if my pet that I adopt has a name given already, either by you or came in with a name, is it smart to keep that name, or?
Well, that's entirely up to whoever adopts. A lot of the names that come with the animals, they've had for a very, very short time. We give them a name to make it a little bit more personal, but it's typically, well, unless you're Joni's case where she's been here a year, it's only been a week or so that they've had that name, so they don't usually know it very well. So you can pick any name you wish. And we do like, if you change the name, just to contact us and let us know what the name is so that we can keep on file and keep record of what animal belongs to who.
Sure. Well, many of our viewers are probably looking for a certain type of breed. If they are looking for a specific type of breed, is there a wait list for that, or can they request a certain type of breed here?
Most certainly. We get all kinds of full breed animals in here, and we do have a wait list for different types of breeds. All you need to do is call and leave a message on our answering machine, and a volunteer or an officer will be happy to call you back, and we can get you on the list of whatever particular breed you're looking for. And if we get one in, we'll be happy to give them a call and give them a chance to come down and see the animal and see if it's the right one for them.
All right, well, let's meet our first dog.
All right, our first dog is Weepy. Weepy is a 4-month-old terrier mix. He's a male neutered, brown and tan and white. He's just a little lover. He's shy at first. He'll cower and hide in the corner, but then he's becomes very lovable and likes to be held. Likes to get your attention sometimes with a little bit of noise, but he's not real vocal. Just a good little boy. Seems to be good with kids. The kids that come through, he seems to like them. Okay?
All right. As we move on, can you tell us a little bit about the summer months approaching and issues that we should take into consideration with heat?
Making sure that your dog has, or cats have, shelter. The ideal, of course, is to keep them in the house when it's hot. But if you're not able to do that, having shelter at all times, potable water, meaning clean, drinkable water, maybe a kiddie pool in the backyard where they can get in and cool themselves down. But the shade is very, very important. A lot of people think that if they have a little strip of shade alongside the house that that's sufficient for the dog. That's not enough shade, because as the sun moves, the shade gets smaller and the dogs are trying to get into that little spot. So a nice covered area that's shady, maybe go out with a hose and hose down the dirt so that it keeps it cooler. Anything you can do. If you imagine how you would feel in any situation that you're thinking to do for your animal, if you wouldn't be able to do it, they're probably not going to be able to do it either.
Sure. And what's your opinion about probably the same myth as the small strip of shade would be a small dog house or something of that nature? even though it's covered, it's very small. Is that not a good idea in the heat?
Well, it's good to have to be out of the elements, but it's going to get rather hot inside that doghouse. So maybe a wet towel inside there, or maybe build a shade over the top of the doghouse so it keeps the inside of the doghouse cooler. But they're typically not going to go inside of there unless they have no other option, and then they're still not being protected from the heat because they can have heat stroke, and being inside of a small area that's heating up like an oven could cause them to have heat stroke.
That's great advice, Julie. Thank you. Let's move on to the next dog.
All right, the next dogs, we have two together here. We have Kiwi and Mango. These are two little girls. This is Kiwi and this is Mango. They're roommates. They're just friendly little girls. They're happy to be together, or they're happy to be separate. They're both, this little one we believe is a miniature pincher cross, about a year old, and this is a Chihuahua cross, about 2 years old. They've been rooming ever since they came here, but certainly could be adopted separately.
And Julie, as we're telling folks about the Animal Care and Control Center, can you tell folks where we're located at?
We are located at 202 East 1st Avenue. Just take Florence Street south across the tracks and take your second left and come down about a block, and we are on the left-hand side.
And when people drive by this location, they'll see some areas that look like drop-off areas. Can you explain about the guidelines for using those a little bit?
Certainly. We do have drop-off boxes that are, or kennels that are located on Main Avenue. They are open in the evenings when when we're closed here at the shelter. They are for strays, so if you find a stray and can't keep them overnight until the morning to bring them into us, you can place the stray dog or stray cat into the drop-off boxes so that we can get them in the morning. Please lock the kennels or the cat cage after you put the animal in so that they cannot get out, and then close the main gate so that if the dog were to get out of the kennel, maybe we have a chance of keeping him in there. We try to keep real soft blankets and fresh water in there all the time, but if you happen to see a kennel that might be locked and has no water, please place the animal in a different kennel, and we will get them out as soon as we get here in the mornings.
All right, let's meet the next dog.
All right, our next dog is Lucky. Hey, baby. Lucky is a pug mix. She's fawn and black. So she's spayed already. She's about 1.5 years old. What's really neat about this dog is when I'm walking her out to the play yard, she can jump up and I can catch her. It's a game we play. And I think she would be an absolutely wonderful little Frisbee dog because she can jump as high as this table, and she's just happy to be around everyone, lovable, but do have to be aware that she is a jumper, loves to jump.
All right.
All right.
Julie, can you tell us about some of the upcoming events at the Animal Care and Adoption Center?
Yes, we do have one coming up on July 20th from 8 to 10 in the morning at Gilbert Park. It's a low-cost vaccination and license clinic where you can get your dog or your cat vaccinated and purchase a license for them. Rabies vaccinations, I believe, are $10. And you also can get the 6-way or the 4-way. 6-way is for a dog, and the 4-way is for a cat.
Okay.
Okay?
So we're ready to meet another dog?
Right. The next dog is Peaches. Hi, baby. That's my girl. This is Peaches.
So we progressively get bigger here,
Yes.
right?
Peaches was in our drop-off box. She was incredibly scared when she was in there. It took me probably a good 30 minutes to even get her out of the drop-off box because she is so scared. We're working very hard to try to get her leash trained. She has no idea what a leash is, and when we put a leash on her, she gets a little scared, but we'll get there. She's a shepherd mix. She's brown and black. Something people should always do is teach their dog a leash. When they come into the shelter and they have no idea what a leash is, it's very, very hard for us to get them adopted, because typically people don't want to adopt a dog that can't even walk on a leash.
Sure.
So it's always important to always keep your dog familiar with a leash and being able to walk on one.
Well, and that also helps out with our city ordinances, which require dogs to be leashed.
Correct,
Right?
correct.
All right. And our next dog is?
Our next dog, we also have another set of dogs. It's Jojo and Maple. Alrighty. This is Jojo, and this is Maple. They're about 12 weeks old. Now, we think they may be sisters, although they did not come in together, but it really appears that they are sisters.
Mm-hmm.
They are Dachshund mixes, very friendly, as you can tell,
Yes.
love attention, need a forever home. They could go together or go separate.
Right, they don't have to go together
No.
necessarily, correct?
No,
Okay.
no.
All right. Next is Dion, correct?
Dion, yes. Now, Dion is a Cairn Terrier mix. Dion found his way to the shelter all by himself. He was standing at the back gate one day, looking at me, saying, "Hey, can I come in?" So we let him in.
Turned himself in.
Yep, he sure did. He is, as you can tell, a very happy boy. Just loves attention. He's about 1.5 years old, male. Would love to cuddle with anyone. Seems to be good with other dogs. Seems to be good with cats. So just a pretty good all-around little dog. Very, very energetic, as you can see. That's a terrier trait, so
Right.
he would love to come and be a part of your family.
So as we get our next dog, can you tell me a little bit about leashes as far as adopting a pet? Do you provide a leash, or should people be prepared to have all the required necessities, the leash and of course the feeding bowls and things of that nature?
Well, it is a good idea to have those, but if you don't have them before you come in and adopt a dog, we do have our little blue slip leads that we will be happy to send one home with the dog. And you could either stop at PetSmart on your way home and pick some things up, or you could bring the dog home, get it a little bit adapted, maybe give them a little water in a bowl, and then go out. You don't want to widen their horizons too much, too fast. So bringing them home and giving them a chance to get comfortable before you bring them shopping might be a good idea. But sometimes if you don't know what kind of dog you're going to adopt, it's pretty hard to pick up the things ahead of time, so you don't know what size to buy. Or
Sure, that's good advice. All right, our next dog?
our next dog is Boogie. This is Boogie. Boogie is an Australian Shepherd mix, tricolored. He's about 3 years old. He's a little shy at first when you first meet him, but he quickly comes around and wants to be your friend. He's very happy. Every inch of his body tells you he's happy. Just a really good all-around dog.
And how old is Boogie again?
Boogie is about 5 years old. He's a little bit older, but he's got a lot of years left to give love.
And there's this idea out there that these types of dogs, Australian Shepherds, are just farm dogs. They're not. They can be family dogs, right?
Absolutely, they can be family dogs. They do need their walks every day, or at least a yard to chase a ball in, but they absolutely can be a family dog.
So Boogie would be a great exercise friend, right?
Very much so. Would probably be a great running partner.
Cool. All right, our next dog?
Our next dog is Darlene.
Now, Darlene's a little older, right?
Yes, Darlene is 7 years old. She is a long-haired Chihuahua mix. She seems to be good with everything. Loves kids. Seems to be okay with cats. Just wants to be everyone's friend. Bless you. She's a long-haired Chihuahua. She's tan and white. And we would be happy to get her spayed if someone chooses her as their lifelong friend.
So Darlene won't get much bigger than this, being 7 years old, right?
Oh,
won't
absolutely.
get any bigger
She
at all.
won't get any bigger at all.
She looks like a little wolf.
She kind of does, yeah. Someone the other day said she looked like a fox.
Yep.
Yeah, she's got that look.
All right. Next we meet.
Next we will meet Mombo. Mombo is a little Jack Russell Terrier mix. He's about 6 months old, and as you can see, he's shy. until he gets to know you. Then he shows you that Jack Russell personality and is pretty excitable. He's learning a leash. Unfortunately, he is a little scared of leashes right now, so that's another dog to show we need to teach our dogs to walk on leashes. I know that a lot of people think when they don't leave home with them and that they only stay in their backyard that they don't really need to know a leash, but you always need to bring your dogs different places like the vet, or maybe bring them to the store to get a little socialization. It's always good to teach your dog a leash, especially if you have an emergency.
Well, I think it's great. You suggested earlier that people try to teach their dogs leashing them, but that when you have the dogs here before you adopt them out, you work with them a little bit to try to get them familiar with that.
I do as much as I can, and I've had some success with some of the dogs, and others it's taken much longer, but we usually get there.
All right.
All right.
And we have one more, I believe?
Yes.
And so a little bit bigger,
yes.
Our last dog, right?
He is a lot bigger.
A lot bigger, okay.
He is a 2-year-old Mastiff mix. He's brown and black brindle.
Well, when you're that big, it takes you a little longer to get out here.
Yes.
Go ahead and tell us more about him.
He is just a big goofball. He does need some leash training. He pulls a little bit too much. He loves to go outside and play.
Let's see if we can bring him right around front here.
Come on, buddy. There you go. He's very excitable right now. He's never been in this room before, so he's a little nervous, but he certainly loves to go out and play and be with people. One thing that people always think with a dog that's this big, they think that they're going to eat a whole bag of dog food in a week, and that's not so. Typically, a dog like this will have 4 to 5 cups of food a day. If we overfeed them, they get overweight, get unhealthy. So they don't eat quite as much as people think. He's a very happy dog. Needs leash training. He's very clean in his kennel. I think he's used to being in the house. But most of all, we'll need some training.
And as far as size goes, how much bigger do you think he'll get at all?
I don't believe
he's already 2, right?
Right.
So he's probably full grown as is.
Right, you're correct. And he needs to fill out a little bit. He needs to gain just a slight bit of weight, but he's as tall as he's going to be.
And I guess one of the other myths, if I may ask you this, about a Mastiff or a dog this large, sometimes people are scared of dogs that are this big or have heads as big as Magnum does. But as we can see here, he's just another playful little dog, right?
Right, very much so.
Well, not little, I take that back. A playful big dog, right?
Yeah, and that is a very large myth, and a lot of times the big dogs can be more gentle than the little dogs.
Right.
And definitely good at being your best friend.
Yeah. And he has a tongue to match his head, right?
He certainly does. Certainly does.
So Julie, just a couple of more questions before we finish today. How can I help my adopted pet adjust to their new home? And what should I expect from my adopted pet in the first few weeks of being at home with me?
Some of the things that you can expect are shyness, uncertainty, caution in doing new things or seeing new things. Try not to make their world, and by world I mean their situation, bigger than it's been too quickly. Like, don't just let them have free run of the house where they can end up into a little bit of trouble chewing on things that you don't want them to chew on, or having accidents in the house. They need to structure so that they understand what the boundaries are and the kinds of things that you expect of them. Some of the things that I think that people need to remember when they adopt a pet, it's not certain that that pet has had a bad life before they came to them. So don't overcompensate and baby the dog so that you're allowing bad behaviors and that sort of thing. Consider getting involved with a training program. PetSmart has a wonderful training program. There's a gal out there named Susan that's an absolute wonderful trainer that will be happy to teach people how to do the basic obedience training with their animals. It gives the animal a chance to get some socialization, learn different behaviors. Maybe crate train them in your home. If you don't understand what crate training is, that's something that Susan would be happy to help you with. Make sure that they have a place that's safe for them, their own little spot. Make sure they have plenty of potable water and food and shelter, and make sure they're a part of the family. That's the biggest success stories that you can have, is if you bring an animal into your home and you make it part of the family, it typically is going to turn out to be a better experience.
Well, Julie, thank you very much. Those were some great tips, and all of the information you've given us today is really beneficial to all of our viewers. We want to thank you for bringing us all of the wonderful pets, all the dogs and cats that are available for adoption. We hope you've enjoyed meeting them. We remind you and encourage you to visit our city website, our Facebook page, and definitely check out Pet Finder. It's a pretty cool site for you to check out and learn more about how to adopt animals. And we'll see you next time on Parade of Paws.